It's boy Chris Jack back with another one. Canvas Nomad here. And it's gonna be apologies. It's gonna be the sound is gonna be just a little bit different. Um I didn't I had an event this weekend and I forgot to charge the mic. So you'll hear everything going on around me. But yeah, let's get to it. So I'm doing each of these videos pretty much in stages. And I just want to let you know that the next one is pretty much support. Talking about what support is. Because you'd be a fool to think that the people around you aren't supportive in some way. It's just convenient that the thing you want them to be supportive in is not what they're supporting you in. And I still stand by that. I believe that once you become of a certain age, that especially if you've made mistakes in the past, from their eyes, they feel like they've given you plenty of opportunities. Now it's time to get your act together, blah, 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 right? So they will support you. For example, family will probably make sure you always have a roof over your head. That's support because life is already hard. They're trying to make it as easy as possible by just giving you a place to stay. I'm sure that's not for everyone, but for the most part, usually family is always going to make sure you have somewhere to stay. And if you don't have family, usually friends kind of fill in that gap for a lot shorter time, but they usually will try to help you, do what you got to do. Support just literally means an endeavor to build something that you want for yourself. And after so many failed attempts, they will start to give up on the fact that you can actually do those things. But you can't give up. And that's what I'm talking about, support. Support is something that you will get in many different facets, many different forms. And most of the time, you are getting support just by, even when it comes to the video I did with escaping the Matrix, the government is giving you support. It's just making sure that the support is given staying within a certain confine. But they're giving you support. You can't say that they're not. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. Yeah, there can be arguments on either side of who gets more. I think it's pretty clearly obvious. But, the government is supporting. So family is always going to be there. Families usually, I'd say 9 times out of 10, I don't know the statistic. I'm not an expert in that. But I would argue that at least 7 times out of 10, family will be there for you. Of course, there's outlier situations. No, I'm not talking about you. If you're a person that says, oh, my family doesn't do anything for me, and you can go to all your friends and they say the same thing, then I'm wrong. But chances are, if you go to all your friends and they're saying the same and they're not saying the same thing, then it's just you. You can't sit there and use it as a macrocosm for the microcosm world that you built for yourself. And maybe you didn't build it for yourself, but that's the one you were born into. Unfortunately, you got the low roll of the dice. But support is always going to be there. Support is just something that when it comes time to realize what it is that you want to do with yourself, like if you haven't figured that out at a young age, which most people don't, it's kind of hard to figure out what your purpose is, what you at least want your purpose to be, and then put all energy directly into that direction. It's really hard, but once you figure that out, if you've attempted so many times, if you've thrown so much spaghetti at the wall, people around you is gonna look at that spaghetti and be like, dang, that's a lot of food you're throwing away. I don't think I can afford to watch you throw away any more food. You need to just stop throwing spaghetti and eat it. You know what I mean? That's kind of the support. But you're like, well, I just need to throw one more piece. Let me get one more handful and throw it. And they're just pretty much being like, you know what? Nah, I think you need to eat the food now. Because you're just wasting it at this point. That's pretty much the support I'm talking about. That encouragement to keep going is going to slowly die over time. And then eventually, some people may even look at you as pathetic, worthless. You know what it feels like to actually feel worthless to the people that you care deeply about? It's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling. But you sit there and try and try and try anyway. And most of the time you sit there and try anyway, most of the time not for yourself, for them. Most of the time you do it for them. But they don't see it that way because, again, nobody around them has done what you're trying to attempt to do. So they put their limiting beliefs on you. And then overall, the person you once were in their eyes becomes a pathetic, worthless individual. You know what I mean? I don't know why he wouldn't just give up his rap dreams because that blah, blah, blah. I don't know why he's still going on auditions. These are the things you're going to hear. And there are some people that would chase their dreams so much to the point where they end up homeless, on drugs, doing things because there's nothing in the world more important than chasing a dream, because anything else is a world of depression. And for anybody that hasn't been in a depression, which I believe everybody at this point has, but there's levels. It's one of the hardest things to explain. It's one of the hardest things to really grasp, like what depression is. And that's why the support is so important, because finding that once you find that thing, depression is no longer there as long as you can keep going towards it. And if it's not something that you can do, the depression becomes even more overwhelming, especially when you feel like you're more aware of your situation than people think. Because you know that going left is not the path you want to go, but it's the way everybody's telling you to go. You know right is the right way, but at the same time, you can't figure out how to go right. So people's like, well, see, I told you, you just need to go left. I don't know, everybody goes left. I don't know why you're trying to go right. And then you stay stuck in that center for as long as possible, either not going left or going left and just hating that path completely, and then got to turn back around, because sooner or later you're going to be like, no, I'm telling you, I knew right was going right. And then walking back is going to keep you in that depressed state. Or you can stay at that intersection and figure out how to go right no matter what. Those are usually the successful people, because most people won't stand still. Or you can stand still and stay in that spot and really, really boggle down life and try to teach everybody that walks past you, hey, you know, this is yada, 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 this is and the third. There's no point in preaching the truth, because nobody's going to listen. They just want to see activity. They want to see action. And until you can prove what you're saying, the support is not going to be given. But now, say have a little kid stand at that intersection, they'll at least listen for a little bit, pet the kid on the head maybe, and then keep going. They're going to acknowledge the kid is there. But in your old age, they're not. They're going to look at you just like a person preaching the word on the corner. You've always heard that person preaching the word on the corner, and that person believes everything they're saying. You know what's funny? Everybody in that religion also believes everything that guy is saying, but they're acting like it doesn't matter at this point in time, like the religion, the word shouldn't be mattering at every single point in time, because people compartmentalize. And that's pretty much what they're going to do on that path. If everybody's going left, I'm going left, because I see them left over there. If I just walk far enough, I can eventually get to where people on the right get to. But it's never, ever going to be something that you see achieved, because the left is a controlled situation. I don't know if you're following me right now. If you're following me, hit the like button, because I need to know if this is resonating. There's just certain things that certain people know. Like, for example, you ever heard the phrase, the A's and B's always work for the C's and D's? Well, what that means is basically people that are getting A's and B's in class are usually the ones in the future working for the people who got C's and D's in class. You know why? Because it's kind of sad, but they say, and to use my analogy in this situation, the C's and D's are too stupid to give up trying to go right. So eventually they find out how to go right, and the people that went left usually go through the conveyor belt. They come out an obedient worker, and then they start to apply for jobs for people on the right. And think about it. How many intelligent people you know really actually get up and start a business? No, it's mostly people that are ready to take a risk. Mostly people that are ready to do things. That's why you won't get that support. Because everybody goes left. They're all going to be the people that just follows the trend, follows the crowd. And you can't blame them because that's the way that society has built it up for them. That's literally the way society wants you to go. So they're just being indoctrinated to do that. It's not their fault. However, people who see beyond it try their whole, maybe their whole lives trying to go right. And they never get it. But I can tell you that person will probably sit there one day on their deathbed sitting like, you know what, at least I don't regret it. So I don't know what's a better situation. I don't know what's better. I don't know how to sit there and say, you know, you have to do this, you have to do that. No, I don't think anybody's journey in life is ever going to be the same, nor is it going to be easy. Life is not easy. But at the same time, once you can see the support that people are giving you, it's easy to understand why the support you want from them is not the support you're going to get. And understand that after time, they're not going to give it to you anymore. They're not. They're just not going to. And it's not their fault. They've seen you fail so many times. They just want you to see you do better, especially if in their eyes you were a person who they thought was going to make it. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to see that and understand, okay, this is not necessarily the support I'm looking for in this situation, but they are supporting me the way that they want. So you can't be delusional about certain things either. There's just certain things that you have to kind of accommodate. But at the same time, when it comes to the things that you want, especially the older that you get, you're not going to get that support from the people around you. But they are going to support you. Now, I'm not talking about the people that like to talk gossip. I'm not talking about the people that like to see your downfall. And you know, it's funny, people like to see you do good until you pass them. And then they're like, whoa, what's going on? Then they jump on the other side's bandwagon. You just got to keep your head down, keep it moving, and push through. Because that's the only way that's going to work. And who cares what anybody thinks? Because again, you can't control that. Who cares? Who cares what perception you're giving off or this, that, and the third? Yeah, reputation is everything. I understand that. And looks is everything because you never get a second chance at a first impression. But at the same time, if you are unapologetically you don't need that first impression. You don't care what the impression is. Because at the end of the day, you're going to find your tribe. You're going to find people that like you. You're going to find your audience, whatever it is. I'm here to just think of ways of a solution because you can't change the system. Yeah, they always say you got to change it from within. You can't change the system. That's just number one. But you can be aware of it and try to find a way out. That's mainly it. And understand until you find that way out, the support that you're going to get is not going to come. How many times have you heard the story, oh, everybody gave up on me, and then when I started winning, they started coming back in my life? It happens all the time because they don't know. They don't know anything about that world. They don't know. You're probably the first one that they know that's doing something like that. So you got to be kind of lenient. That's why a path like this, going right, is not an easy path. You're literally making life harder because life is on not easy mode, but it's a lot easier if you just go left with everybody else. And what left is just following the scholastic ladder up to 12th grade, then going through college, maybe go to grad school, you get a good paying degree, and then you find a little jail cell that you feel comfortable, and you build that up to the point where you feel comfortable in the world. You probably have some kids, get your white picket fence, the American dream. And then you get old, you see traditions go by, and that's pretty much it. Then, unfortunately, circle of life happens. But if you go right, you probably live a bigger life than you would ever think about. So, I don't know, I choose to go right, and I understand that support is not going to be there because they're unfamiliar with it. But don't get delusional and don't think the people around you aren't supporting you. They're just not doing it the way you want, so you feel like you don't get support. That's not true. At least in most cases. Of course, life isn't perfect, so there's going to be outliers. But I just wanted to clear that up and make sure that it's understood that when I say support, I mean specifically in the area where you're trying to better yourself. At least the way you see it. All right, your boy Chris Jack. Like, comment, subscribe. And if you made it this far in the video, Canvas Mad says peace.